Sometimes with Logic, it's like banging your head against a brick wall. Or in my case, a baking tray. I mean, the thing is with Logic, it's great and everything, but it's just a bit, I don't know, finicky to start with. It's not like Ableton or FL Studio. However, there are certain things that you can do to set yourself up to make the music creation process easy for yourself. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to do it. Firstly, when you open Logic, you get this screen. Now it says there at the top, new project, and you've got the option to click either one of these two. This one's empty project and this one's the live loops. I tend not to use the live loops. I just use the normal project, and this is how I'm going to show you the best way to set it up. And then obviously if you go down here, you've got recents, the recent projects that you've been looking at, I've been working on. Starter grids, I've never opened any of them and I've no idea what they are. Tutorials, I've never really looked at any of these either. If you're new to Logic, give it a shot, see what they do, see what you can learn from it. Demo projects, this is actually quite a good idea. Looking at other people's templates, seeing how they work, seeing what they've done, how the producer has worked in Logic Pro. That's quite a good idea to have a look at. And then project templates, again, I've never used any of these, but something there. Maybe if you're looking to started downloading that. If you're looking to use one of these, by all means have a go. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a new project and we're going to go from there. So as you can see, you can change the tempo, key signature, time signature, etc, etc, everything here. Just set it up however you want. I generally just leave everything as it is and then I'll change it when I get into Logic. So what we'll do now is we'll just choose this and then we'll change everything within Logic. So this is the first screen that you get, and it's very basic. You've basically come from an upgrade of GarageBand and it's good, but we want to get advanced. We want to get the advanced tools on and we want to work in Logic and really delve into this. So we'll just click create and we've just created a track there. So what we'll do is we'll go to Logic Pro here and then we'll go to advanced tools and then click that. That is the first thing that I would recommend that you do. So now if I click this, this is the information side that you need up pretty much all the time. Here you can click and you can go through and pick different synthesizers within Logic. I've actually got things set up here, folders set up which are probably different to yours, and I'll show you how to do them in this a bit later on. Well, one of the first things that I do is I always click that button to get rid of it, and I click that button so that I can see what I'm doing. So if I then add, say, an audio track, see, you can see the audio there. I can now fade in and fade out if I drag an audio track in there, and I can also hit reverse when I press the reverse button here. So for example, we'll go and do that now, and let's just chuck that in. So now, as you can see, some of these things have been highlighted. The gain has been highlighted. So if we have a look, as you can see there, you can now change the gain within the file itself. And if you highlight it, you can give it a fade in, give it a fade out. And what you can also do, excuse me, is if you click on that, you can slow it down, which is good for like DJ drops or something like that. So if you've got to slow down there, maybe you just move it up like that and then just press play like that. And what you can also do is you can also grab it there like that. I think I've got that set up differently probably to everybody else's. Also, another thing, excuse me, is when you are moving these around, you'll notice that what you need to do is it doesn't quite fit on the start of some of these. So the start of like the beat and stuff like that. So what you need is you need to snap it. So you go down here and you click snap readings to absolute value. So then when you move, it literally just snaps. See, it snaps there like that, dead on the beat. You can even change it to, you can change it to beat like that. So you can change it to beat. So that'll go to the absolute value, where that one, as you can see, that one's doing it. However, I always have it on absolute value and have it on smart generally, because then I can put it where I want. Because it's something like this, like a spoken word. If I'm making like a house or a techno track, sometimes it might not be best on the beat, so maybe it'll need to be a bit later or halfway through, or it just depends. If we take a look at the preferences and we have a look at the audio, there are certain things in here which you can change around to make Logic go a bit faster with your CPU. Now if I just get this up, I've just double clicked on that there, and excuse me, this is just the performance meter which you can check while you're producing, mixing, or whatever you're doing within Logic. Now the processing threads, I change mine to 8 because you've got, well, on this Mac, on my iMac, I've got 8 threads available. So I'm going to use 8 so that the computer will, well, Logic and the computer will put the performance over all 8 threads, because what you've probably got it set to automatic when you first start up. And what that does is it'll just like, Logic will just dump everything on one thread. So that's when you get like system overloads. So it is better to put it on the highest threads that you've got. Processing buffer range, I have it on large. My buffer size, I generally just use 512. To be honest, just for when I'm producing, I just want to get it all quick. Because I've got a MIDI keyboard. Well, it's a Roland System 8. It's an actual synthesizer, but it's used as well as a MIDI keyboard. So when I press the keys, I want it to hit straight away within the soft synth that I'm using. Multi-threading, I've got it set to playback tracks. I don't think it really matters. It just depends on which one you're using within Logic. Summing, I've changed that to high precision, and the rewire behavior is off. So also there's a couple of weird things with Logic that you can do to make it go a little bit faster, and there's this thing here where you undo steps. It's probably on 100. You can change that down, because when do you ever go back 100 times? I don't think anybody has ever done that. Maybe you've undone a couple of things. So that apparently that actually helps performance if you lower that. In regards to automation, I generally leave it as ask. I try to do the automation one of the last things, so I'll arrange the track and then I'll start using cut-offs, decay, sustain, release, whatever. I'll generally do all that, like fine-tuning throughout the arrangement. So I'll generally just leave that as it is, as ask, because it doesn't really bother me that much when I just need to click OK on when I'm moving the automation. When you're working with long sustained notes like this, you can only play the note at the beginning of when the MIDI is before the MIDI starts. So say like here at the beginning, it starts there. But say if the cursor's here and you're halfway through mixing a track and you've got a big massive long sustained note that's held for like 8 bars or something, it doesn't play, which is annoying. So the way to get around that is to go to preferences, you go to MIDI, and then MIDI sync project, and then you go up to MIDI here, and then click on chase, and then click on notes. So it'll chase the notes if they're sustained. So then if you click across there, if I move the cursor back there and I press spacebar or play, it'll play halfway through the note. One way that you can help the CPU is if you just right click and click Customize Control Bar and Display, there is a button here called Low Latency Mode. Now, it probably won't happen, well, it won't happen now, but when you have, say, like a few third-party plugins, you can click this and it basically helps to free up the space of especially third-party plugins and some sends. When you send when you send stuff off to a bus, this is a good button to use once you're like, if your CPU is like all the way up here and you can hear all the cracks and Logic is starting to basically like break down in a way. So I'd have this up there just in case. You don't really need to use it every time, but it's just a good button there, and I have it up there all the time. Also, within this customization bar, there is things like the key signature, which you can put in. I generally don't use that. I generally use the keys within the MIDIs. I generally use this scale quantize button here for that. However, this section here, this transport, I do actually use some of these, so I will use go back to the beginning. Let's have a look. Play from beginning. I will use that. And then this is quite a good one, which is capture recording. So say if you're messing about and you've got, you're looking through sounds and you find a sound and you're sat there for like 10 minutes and you've made a riff and you think, oh, that's a well good riff, that's really cool, but you then got to record it. Well, you don't actually have to do that. You can actually just press that button and it'll come up. So say like if I'm messing about now playing this, so I've just played that in there. If I press that, that is recorded everything what I've done. So if I were you, I'd keep that on there. Now you've customized the top section, a good idea is to customize these bits here. So if you right click that and you basically go down here to configure track header, you can then add or take away some of these buttons. So when I was talking about your CPU and using the low latency mode, you can actually freeze some of the tracks. So basically what you do is when you've pressed that button, it'll like bounce it down into audio, and then you can't change it. So you can freeze it, but you can't change any of these. So it's like once it's done, like you've commit to it, but it does free up quite a lot of CPU. If you then go down here, you can then click color bars, which is quite a good way, helping you remember what is what. I would highly recommend that you use your own colors for certain things. So say like a kick drum, for example, I use red for that color for kick drums, and say like I think hi-hats and shakers, stuff like that, I use like a pinky color. So you can use pretty much whatever you want. It's just that, say like if I went to the mixer now, this is that color, it'll then come up there, and it'll also come up here. So then you can easily recognize within the mixer and within the arrangement view what you're actually tweaking or mixing. So that's pretty much how I would set Logic up as like a basic setup. So now what I would do is I'd save something like this as a template, because really you don't want to keep doing that every time you load Logic up. You've got to faff about with this bit and then do all this up here. So what I'd do now is say I'd probably delete that, and maybe put either like just an empty channel strip or just an audio track on its own. And just to double check, just get rid of that, and then that's it. Have it at the beginning. So then all I'd do is I go to File and I click Save as Template. So I'd save it as a template like that there, and then I'd probably just call it something like basic setup example for YouTube, and then I'd save it like that. If I came back up into this, as you now see, you've got my templates. This has come up now because you pressed advanced tools within here, so we now can see everything. So now all my templates that I've set up are all here, and this one here that we've just set up, if you double click it, it's there, and you're basically ready to make music. So the next time you turn your computer on and you turn Logic on, you can just select this template and you're ready to go. So that's pretty much it. If you're stuck using Logic, go to my website, which is in the description, or leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the video. Give us a like, share and all that shite. If you're producing house and techno and you're struggling with your productions and you're using Logic, I do one-to-one sessions. If you want to have a session with me, yeah, let me know. Send me an email. My email is in the description, and I'll get back to you.